Hi, in this video we're going to look at the black tag pattern Choong Moo 30 moves. Before we get into the pattern, there's a couple of the moves that we need to look at in more detail before moving on to performing the pattern and taking you through it. First one is a jumping side kick. It's the first time we've got a jumping side kick within our patterns, so we should explain it. We're going to be coming from a knife hand guarding block. Our foot's at 15 degrees. First move we should be looking to do is a front side stepping motion. So we come through. So the feet are on the same angle as each other, coming through, and we're looking at about one shoulder width forwards of the rear foot. As we come through, what will happen is the rear leg will then raise. As it raises, it tips over to one side. That raising action gets us up in the air. The tipping action brings the pelvis round so that we can execute the side kick. Okay? We land in a knife hand guarding block. The next one we need to look at is a consecutive kick. And again, the first time we've got a consecutive kick in this. And that is going from a high turning kick to a middle back kick. So we will go from this position here, which is a reverse knife hand strike to high. From this position, we will drop the hands out of the way and we'll do our high turning kick. We will place the feet down, rotating, and the feet next to each other. So as you see, they are parallel. They are not touching. Now, some people say we need to touch, but in the encyclopedia, it says they need to be put next to each other. Now, when we're delivering this, the fact of it is we need to look at the mechanics of how we're delivering it. Now, the mechanics are very similar to when we're doing a normal back kick. When we're doing a back kick, we'll have from an L stance, we'll rotate the foot so the toes are in line with the rear toes. From this position now, I will then send my back kick. And if I take it through to the mid stance, then this is where I'm at. So I'm relatively parallel, then we'll come through. So to show that in full more detail, so as I rotate through, I lift to that parallel position, rotate, arms, back kick, and coming in. So let's put that into Choong Moo. So from this position, we have our high turning kick. We rotate, feet next to each other. I'll cross my arms, lift my leg, then I'm going to rotate and coming down and into a guarding block to the way I've just come. Make sure that we get that body at 45 degrees when we come out. Make sure we cross the arms and chamber and then bring the arms out and the body also at 45 degrees. The next one we need to look at is a jumping 360 turn in the air and coming down into a knife hand guarding block. We've come from Daguchamaki in this position from fixed stance. What we need to look at doing is lifting the knees up wide and high as we come round. We land in a knife hand guarding block. So those knees coming up high and to the side. The last move that we need to look at in a little bit more detail is where we have the slipping of a foot or a pulling of the foot into position. Now we've gone into a Dweejbun Sonka Tulgi. Now we're in a lower stance, we're going to a higher stance, an L stance. So at this point, as I pull, I go from a low position to a high position. So there is no sine wave. It's not done in fast motion, as some people think, but it is just a shorter move because there is no sine wave within it. So from this position, we just pull into that position. So I go from low position to a high position. Okay, now we've got that out of the way, let's look at the pattern in more detail throughout the whole piece. So we go from Narani Chumbisogi. So we have a Sangpao Maki with Sonkals. The next move we do an inward knife hand strike. But what we're doing differently here is we bring the opposite reaction force hand to the forehead. So the fingers are just above the eyebrow and in front of the forehead. So we stretch out and pulling in with a high inward knife hand strike. Rotate, knife hand guarding block. Then we have walking stance, fingertip thrust, high. Back onto the CD line, open, knife hand guard. I now come into a Kaburio Sogi and then deliver a side kick middle to the rear. Unlike a lot of other patterns, I'm taking my leg backwards on this rather than going forwards with my foot. We need to bring the foot from our side kick down halfway and then out. So we're not bringing it back into Gaburo Sogi because that can really mess this up. We now go into our flying side kick. Rotate. I need to rotate on my front foot to prepare myself to go into a low outer forearm block in L stance. We've generally done this in walkie stance before, but now we do it in L stance. Make sure we screw down with the movement. Stand up and then deliver. I'm now going to do a grasp behind the head of my attacker. But I'm going from an L stance into a walking stance. So I need to correct my stance. So I pull back. So my heels and toes are in line. I come forward now and grasp behind his head, arms straight. I'm now going to pull my hands down to my solar plexus, and I'm going to take my leg so it's above horizontal with an upward knee strike. I need to place my feet directly next to each other. Rotate, and we come into our reverse knife hand strike, high. I now come into my complex of high turning kick, back kick, guarding block. All right, our next move is to do a turning kick, but we're doing it on 45 degrees. Only twice within the patterns in Taekwondo are we doing a turning kick at 45 degrees, and this is one of them. The other one is in Gaebek Tull. So I need to do my turning kick to 45, place the foot next to the other one, and go into my Daguchimaki in fixed stance. 360 jump. I now come into my thrust. So if we take the camera around to the other side, and so I need to go to my thrust with my pull. Sunson Kotolgi. I rotate now on my AB line, coming into a high Du Palmok. Now I come round into a middle outer forearm block on the center line, sitting stance. So a high side back fist strike. So my hand is just in front of my shoulder line, so I'm not extending back too far. I'm now going to do two side kicks. These are done in normal motions. So they're not fast motion, as in Farang Tull. They're not consecutive. They just are going to be going on one from the next to the next. Now, as you notice, when I put my foot down, I put it down onto my center line. So I bring my leg in and I push my forward leg through. I come into my X checking block to this position here. Now this is on my solar plexus height with the X. My fingertips are going to be at shoulder height. And I bring my arms round so that I am on a forward facing line, 15 degrees with my front leg. So we're not here, we're here, coming from attack from the front. Now we have a double palm upward block. Now I've seen this before in Choong Moo, and in Choong Moo we did it with one hand, we did it in Dwit Bao Sogi. But this is to two people, so it's still the same thing, coming round in a D and up in a straight position. We now finish off. Good Jaradolgi, rising block, middle punch, Choong Moo, then back into Narani Chumisogi. Okay, let's go through the whole pattern and let's see it from the top. Okay, they have Choong Moo, 30 moves, black tag, pattern. Thank you.